Welcome back, everybody, to the Science Fictionary podcast. So let's see, we'll give people a minute to drop in here, but we're going to talk about Superman. But I want to preface all of this with we're going to talk a little about Superman. We're not going to go super in depth here, although we'll go into depth on some things. But we have a full review with our co-host David on the audio channel. I will put a link to that episode in the description here, but you can find it on any of your favorite podcatchers. But we did a full, thorough hour and 37 minute, maybe longer than that. It's over an hour and a half. And that was after I trimmed it down. Review of Superman.
Yep.
And we'll be back next week, I believe. Probably David was a little late getting to see Fantastic Four.
Right. He's
and we may
all see it this weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said he'll see it this weekend, right?
He's going to see it tomorrow night.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe we can get it over the weekend sometime.
But we're and we may talk a little Fantastic Four here tonight as well, but we will be doing a full, thorough, long form. So kind of where we're at with the channel right now is I'd want to maintain, we want to grow the YouTube channel. We know that's where growth is going to happen if it happens. But we enjoy our audio podcast. Even, audio only podcast. I don't know, how much growth market there is for another pop culture.
But by golly,
but we enjoy
Liana likes them.
Well, she does. A lot of people like them. It's just that, there's thousands of people doing what we do. And we didn't start that audio podcast necessarily looking for it to blow up and be this massive podcast. It was so we could get together a night a week and talk about nerd stuff. And that's literally how the podcast happened. Was me and Daniel, one of my original co-hosts here, would sit down and we would get on the phone and just talk for like an hour and a half. At some point it was like, we could probably actually sit down and, in front of a mic and do this. And so we did. But we're going to continue. I used to be real, try not to get too long. I always wanted to keep the audio pod to like 30 minutes. It never happened. On a good day, it would be an hour. A lot of days it was pushing 2.
A lot of times.
But we're just going to let that go at however long they're, I'm not going to put a ton of time into editing them. If there's stuff that needs to be edited out, I'll fix it. But like generally speaking, you're just going to get our raw conversation over there on the audio channel, and it's going to be long. So if you want to listen to the whole thing, listen to the whole thing. If you want to catch parts of it, we'll do our best to start putting in some chapter markers when we change topics. But this is our more concise format is going to be here on YouTube because that's where it works. Not that our live streams might not get a little long, which is why we've started breaking them up into individual episodes. And I appreciate all of you who have been coming back and watching the individual episodes. We're getting a lot more views there than we do here on the live streams. Because in my experience, once you do a live stream, at least for us, because we're small, small channel, when we do a live stream, it's got a couple hours after we're done and that's it. Nobody else is going to it might get one more view a month or something.
Right.
So, but when I go do those, when I cut them up into individual topical episodes, they blow up and they do way more numbers. So we're going to continue doing that. So we appreciate everybody that's been checking that out. But, let's see. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we jump into Superman? We just want to jump right into Superman.
It's me.
Oh, I was excited. I thought somebody was in our chat, but it's just Marisha.
It's Marisha, but if someone else gets into our chat, Marisha can talk to them.
It's true. All right. So,
like a teenager.
Superman. Let's start this conversation.
Hey, wait. I got to do a better teenager impression. What? That's a better teenager impression.
It's at least ours. That's probably most.
I think that's most teenagers these days.
So real quick. So the big thing, the big conversation right now around all these movies, we've had 3 Marvel movies, we've had the one DCU movie, and kind of the big conversation is box office.
Yeah.
But the real problem, it's like, on one hand, you've got, saying, well, this is the highest grossing domestic Superman movie of all time. And it's right there. It passed Man of Steel. Man of Steel was like just shy of 300 million, and this one has passed 300 million, and it's on its way to a $600 million finish, most likely.
Okay. I mean, and
which
especially
is
once you factor in inflation.
Well, that's the real trick here. It's like, okay, so it probably made its money back. Yeah. And that's great. Like, I mean, it's budget. It's about, I think I saw and I don't know when the last time the numbers updated, probably a couple of days ago. I don't know how often Box Office Mojo updates their numbers. But if you look at those numbers, like, yeah, this crossed 300 million, is performed dreadfully internationally compared to what a lot of superhero movies do. So, particularly South Korea and China just didn't watch this movie.
Did it even show in South Korea and China?
I'm sure it showed in South Korea. Now, supposedly it showed in China, but then, you can't trust anything that comes out of China.
That's true.
So who knows? Box Office Mojo actually doesn't even list China in their numbers for some reason. They're separated numbers.
So and I don't know if for this and I don't know if they're period?
Just, I don't know. I don't usually look at them that close. But this one I did.
It did do well in Asia. That's interesting. I would have thought, like,
is Superman too much of an American icon?
I mean, maybe.
But I mean, performed well before, Spider-Man. But we're in a different, today's different than 2013.
Wow, it's been that long.
It has been that long. 12 years since that's what I want to talk about, because yes, this movie did pass Man of Steel in total box office earnings. But, we've talked about this before, and we did a whole episode on this where we explored the ever increasing number of billion-dollar films.
Yeah.
It's easier now than ever to hit $1 billion.
Because $1 billion is worth so much less than it used to be.
Well, so let's to put this in perspective. A movie that made $500 million, $500 million, 15 years ago. In modern ticket sales, that movie crosses the $1 billion mark.
Wow.
So this is not a scientific study, because I used just rough averages that I was able to pull offline. And, averages don't mean, an average movie ticket, but like big cities tickets are more expensive, and presumably a lot more people are going in big cities. But
do you remember whenever we had a theater here, it cost as much to go see the movie here as it did to drive out of town and see it? Well, in a big theater that didn't have
okay,
stuff
but here's the numbers. By the numbers, like I said, not scientific and not guarantee these average ticket prices are exactly correct, but I'd say they're close. $300 million, right, on the new movie. Average ticket price. Now, I just did it domestic. Figuring out international averages doesn't work. No. It's too varied.
Yeah.
So, average ticket price in the U.S. $16.08. Wow.
Okay.
Fortunately, we live in a place where they're not that much. If we go to Monroe, we pay about $10 a ticket, which is awesome today. But that comes out to 8.8 million tickets sold.
Okay.
So Man of Steel, $291 million domestically, with an average of $8.13 per ticket nationally. Just using that average, that's about 35.8 million tickets.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember
that's almost twice. Man of Steel sold almost twice as many tickets. So the problem is people aren't going to the theater
because the tickets cost twice as much as they did 12 years ago. I mean, So I remember going and seeing movies when we were dating, maybe when we were first married, here at the theater, which costs just as much as the theaters in like real places. A evening ticket was like $8. A matinee was like $5.
Yeah.
And that wasn't that long ago. It's not like that was, 30 years ago. That was
15 years ago.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's ever occurred to anyone that they would sell twice as many tickets if it didn't cost $100 to take your family of 4 to the theater and get popcorn and 3 drinks.
See, here's the thing: is for us, an average movie ticket for us, if we go to Baton Rouge or Monroe, average movie ticket for us is about $12.
That's after your discounts, though, for your stuff.
So yeah, so that's if I don't pay the online fees. And I think at this point, if you're going to go to a movie theater regularly, pick whichever movie club. At this point, they've done everything they can. Unless you want, like, if you're going to buy your tickets ahead of time, like if you're going to walk up to the counter, and frankly, like when we go to Monroe, you look at the theater and you go, they hadn't pre-sold any seats. Like, this is bad. Well, you go and the theater's full, like, because nobody there pre-buys tickets.
It's weird.
It's weird because I've been pre-buying tickets forever at this point.
And when it's 110 degrees, I'll pay the extra $2.
Not to stand outside.
To stand outside in the line.
Yeah.
No joke. I do my annual standing out in the hot lines at Dragon Con, and I'm not interested in doing it any other time.
So, like, if you add fees to the tickets and taxes and everything, I think you end up, if we're in Baton Rouge, somewhere around $14 a ticket.
Okay.
But like I said, average ticket in Monroe, if we were paying fees, is like $12 a ticket.
Okay.
So, the thing is like, I'll eat that to go watch a movie in theater. Like, I will.
Right.
That's really not even the problem with the cost of the theater. It's the concessions.
Yeah, dadgum drink is like when last time we went, I got like a large popcorn and a large drink, and it was like $30.
Yeah.
For like, and then there was the candy on top of that.
Yeah.
It's like, why does it cost $50 to get concessions?
Yeah. Some theaters are worse than others for sure. And some brands are worse than others. The one we went to the other day is one of the, for being a little bit smaller theater chain, is certainly one of the more expensive. It's more expensive than a Cinemark. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe their price point isn't regionally based. Does that make sense? They're not really competing with the other. I mean, they're the only theater in town, so I guess they don't have to compete.
Well, I mean, that's, around here, though, unless you're in Baton Rouge, that's kind of the norm, is to be the one theater in town. Most places around here can't really sustain more than one. If you go to Baton Rouge or New Orleans, you can.
Yeah.
The Jackson metro area's got a few.
Mm-hmm.
But, Hattiesburg, Natchez, Monroe, Alexandria, those are one theater towns.
Yeah. Yeah.
But believe it or not, like in the 80s, even through most of the 90s here, Natchez had 2 theaters. Yeah. That's how much the experience has changed. People are not going to the movie theater anymore.
And I wonder, I know a lot of people just like to be at home, especially since COVID. They realized, I don't have to go. I don't have to leave my house ever. And some people like that. But I feel like if it weren't so prohibitively expensive, they would just sell more tickets. I can't see how, if tickets cost half as much, they wouldn't sell more of them.
Well, yeah. I mean, the math, there's more complications to the math.
Obviously, the price of living has skyrocketed in the past 5 years. But
you almost wonder, like, to some extent, you almost wonder if the theaters had fewer people operating them and didn't even have concessions and allowed people to bring in certain items,
their own snacks. Yeah.
If more people wouldn't go buy a ticket.
Maybe.
Even if you charge the same amount or slightly more for the ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but we keep hoping to get a theater here, but they're dying.
Yeah.
And part of the reason they're charging so much is because they have half the number of people coming in, and they're trying to maintain a certain level of profit margin.
Right.
So it keeps driving.
Unfortunately, eventually you drive yourself out of business.
Yeah, it's a bad model. It doesn't work. It's just basically you're clinging to life until you have to shut the doors. But I don't know what the future of theaters is. I'm hoping that people come back, but I ran a poll last week on Twitter asking people if they preferred watching movies at home or in the theater. And it was exactly 50-50. And that's not a scientific poll, but
yeah. It's people who like movies, though. Generally, your Twitter followers is a movie loving demographic.
Yeah.
So it's people who are going to see the movie. The question is just, are they going to see the movie at home or are they going to see the movie in the theater?
Yeah.
Hey, Charles is in the chat.
Speaking of people, so Charles is one of the people in the I think that was in the poll that mentioned he prefers to watch a movie at home and listed off some reasons why. And I get it, frankly, but I'm a theater person, but I don't really know. I don't know if there's any salvaging it before it dies.
And I wonder if, I don't know, certain movies I want to see in the theater specifically, like Endgame, right, was one. If you didn't see it in a theater, like, what were you even doing? Because it was such a cool. Force Awakens was a really great theater experience, but honestly, a lot of them, a lot of movies probably are just as good in your living room.
Yeah. Now look, I've seen shots like we saw. So I've seen Fantastic Four. I didn't get to see it on an IMAX screen,
right?
But I did get to see it on a larger format screen. I think it was GPX.
Yes, $16 a ticket if anyone's keeping track.
They were more a ticket, but I'm going to tell you, because I've seen the movie twice, and you can see so much more. That it was shot for IMAX, and there's some stuff that if you didn't see it in IMAX, you'll be able to see it on your TV.
Where did you see it again?
I saw it in Monroe last weekend.
Okay, I didn't know y'all were going to see the movie. I thought y'all were just going to do stuff at the outdoor place.
No, I did hunting stuff, and then I did
nerd
movie stuff, and then I ate Bojangles chicken.
As one does. Maybe we'll go see. I'm going to be in a town with a theater again on Friday. Maybe we'll go see it again. Never can tell.
But there were some scenes, especially the scenes with Galactus, that were shot for IMAX, and like you get a lot more on screen that you can't see on the standard.
Yeah, I would kind of like to see that one in IMAX. Actually, I think the last movie I saw in IMAX was probably The Force Awakens. Just been a minute. But we were in town, and it was. I think I had the kids, and we were in Baton Rouge, and it was like, "Hey, you want to go see it?" And I'm
trying to remember what we were doing. We were coming home from New Orleans.
Comic-Con.
Was it New Orleans Comic-Con?
Yeah. It was.
And we stopped and watched Force Awakens. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with theaters, but they're becoming increasingly expensive.
Yeah.
But Superman. So we have 4 comic book movies this year, unless I'm forgetting some minor ones, but 4 like from the 2 big studios, 3 Marvel. Crazy that Marvel gave us 3 this year, and we're only getting 1 next year, and not till December.
I know, like maybe we could work on that a little bit.
Well, I think that they've kind of like slowed down because there's some stuff coming down the pipe. I think we're getting set up for some real serious changes to the MCU, whether it's a full timeline reset or a merging of timelines where we can then figure out a way to have the X-Men here and have been here all along.
We're going to have to do something because honestly, it's all getting very convoluted, which is honestly
multiverse stuff's always going to be convoluted,
but it's only sustainable for so long in a movie franchise. Otherwise, it just starts to be too much.
Yeah, Possibly. I don't know. They've already done the impossible with this franchise. So, I don't know. If they've got a plan, I'm willing to see what it is. And they seem to be, look, we got 3 Marvel movies this year. 2 are excellent.
Yeah.
One is one of the best Marvel, one of the best movies that Marvel has made in a really long time.
Yeah,
maybe
finally
ever.
out on
And
streaming. I'm excited to see it.
Fantastic Four, solid movie, one of the best. And then we've had in a while. And then Captain America: Brave New World's kind of a mess of a movie, but it's enjoyable. I mean, it's a good popcorn flick.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I wasn't beating down the door to buy it the day it came out necessarily.
No, but it's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a little bit of a mess. And they obviously changed that movie. They had to cut it up a lot. It went through some pretty serious edits. And then Superman. And I don't know, now that we've seen both, and we had to do that Superman review the other night without talking about Fantastic Four, even though we had already seen it, because David had not. But it's really hard. There's a lot of things worth comparing.
Oh, yeah, for definitely.
About these 2 films.
For sure. Let's see. Ooh, Charles has some thoughts on new Superman. My biggest sticking point was Kal-El's not understanding Kryptonian. I think the message will end up being rigged. I mean, I feel like they kind of went out of their way to be like, no, it couldn't possibly be, but they could definitely make it. They could definitely change their minds on that.
Yeah, I think they could change their mind. I mean, they were pretty pointed about it as far as him not understanding Kryptonian. I'm not sure why they went that. There's a few things I don't know why they've decided to make Supergirl younger than him.
Has Superman traditionally been able to understand Kryptonian?
Yeah. Okay. But we don't necessarily. I mean, like, for me, that him not understanding Kryptonian, like, why did he, like, if he didn't understand it until he discovered, found the Fortress of Solitude and all that stuff, but like why he hasn't learned it, is another thing. But that didn't get me. But there is some Superman, the pacing, while it's quick and fun, sometimes feels jarring in the way it jumps between scenes. I did thoroughly enjoy the Superman movie, but also Superman was outshined by Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner every time they were on screen.
I mean, I don't know if I feel like they were outshined, but I don't know. Like, I could definitely see the argument. I'm not sure I necessarily like, I didn't think he was lackluster. Like, I thought he was pretty compelling as Superman. Now his fight scenes, I think that honestly, as far as the fight scenes, there may have been a bit of a mistake with most of the fight scenes. You see him paired up against a Superman clone, so they're evenly matched physically. That's not so, like, they told us, Superman lost his first fight, which, I mean, works because he lost it to himself basically, but also you don't get a really, you're just show me, don't tell me. Like, don't tell me Superman wins every fight he's in. Like, I feel like in order to really sell that, we should have actually seen him win a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I did not expect the first scene to be him getting his butt kicked.
Well, I mean, he kind of gets his butt kicked the whole movie. And I don't know that that's, like, while I understand it as a plot point, like, I understand why.
Yeah.
But the problem is you don't understand why.
Right.
Until very late in the film.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, this Superman gets his butt kicked a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should have had some, moments where we see Superman like, overwhelming the villain.
Right. Like, does Superman really need help to take down the big monster? Like, he's Superman. He should need the help.
Yeah.
That kind
of... And so Charles says, yes, the Fortress of Solitude traditionally was a school for Superman. Therefore, understanding Kryptonian, the side characters drew the most reactions from our theater's attendees for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think Nathan Fillion and Mr. Terrific in a lot of ways steal the show. Nathan Fillion just had all the best lines, and Mr. Terrific had the best fight scene.
He did, yeah.
And had great lines.
Yeah.
But as far as this goes, like, yeah, I'm not real sure what direction they're going, but there's this seeming attempt to separate Superman from his Kryptonian origin.
Yeah.
With the message from his father and all this. So like,
and the I'm just as human as any of you speech.
Yeah.
Even though it's technically not true.
Right. But I wonder if not having him understand his own planet is part of whatever James Gunn is trying to do with separating him from his Kryptonian origin. I don't know if it's an effort to humanize him or if it's just James Gunn's father issues, which we did talk about at length. I mean, that's definitely something that comes through in every James Gunn project. Like, it's a recurring thing, and I don't think there's any denying it. So yeah, not sure what they're doing there.
Yeah.
But I mentioned 4 movies. Which one's your favorite?
Ooh. Oh, I hate those kinds of questions.
Well, it's hard. I think it's hard. I mean, I have a clear winner. Charles is going to disagree with my
your father theory.
No, Charles is going to disagree with my favorite movie because I don't think he liked it. But we'll see.
Okay, so I think that Thunderbolts was probably my favorite superhero movie that's come out this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna tell you, I saw Thunderbolts 3 times in theater. I love that every time I watched it, and that movie has so much more heart than. I mean, I think Fantastic Four kind of edges up there. The deal for me with Fantastic Four, beautiful movie. I love the way it's shot. I love this take on Fantastic Four. It's never been done anywhere close to this well. And the pacing's good, so I don't want to say it's boring, but the highs aren't real high.
There's some really lows.
It's very even.
And it's definitely more of a downer than an upper.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like big high level exciting moments. I don't know what the reason. I think that the emotion all comes through very well in it, and I think that it has some really great moments. I thought the take on the Thing was amazing, even though I don't think we got the character development moments that. I don't think we got any great character development moments with anybody because we're jumping into them 4 years into their 4 years into their story.
Which is like, it's interesting that that's been the trend, is like, and skip the origin story for everybody.
Look, I mean, I don't agree with doing that across the board, but like Fantastic Four, we've done the origin twice in the modern comic book movie era. So like, I understand why they did. And I understand why they didn't do it with Spider-Man. Now in Superman, they kind of made, so I love the way they did it in Fantastic Four. We get a fill-in.
Yes,
we get exposition. Because I was just sitting here thinking the only story to ever like masterfully do the opening exposition is Fellowship of the Ring. Like
Star Wars.
Well, Star Wars does it great with the crawl. And then, but Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring feeds us this massive amount, just this massive info dump at the beginning. Sets up this entire world, not just this moment, but like everything that's important in the moment. And basically the whole War of the Rings story. And then
the first
I feel like I really enjoy the way Fantastic Four is going to do their opening, and I'm not going to spoil anything, Charles. We're not doing that. But Superman just gives us some lines of text, and I found that a really boring
against
way.
a white, like a snow.
I feel like they could have found a more creative, entertaining way to fill that gap.
Yeah. I didn't love it.
Honestly, probably one of my least favorite parts of the movie is that we just, it's like if you're not going to do the origin story, then just don't do the origin story. It's like we attempted to kind of do the origin by, giving you some just text, and it's like text on a screen. So if we want to compare that, like the best text ever on a screen, Star Wars, like, the crawl, it's not like that. It's right. I don't even think there was music.
No, if it was just real kind of mellow.
So like you could have done the exposition better.
Yeah. Now.
But your favorite? You said Thunderbolts?
I think Thunderbolts, yeah.
you see.
Charles doesn't like Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Charles said, I haven't seen Fantastic Four, but Thunderbolts is my least favorite. Maybe I need to give it another chance now that I know what to expect. It's my favorite. It's just a wonderful film. I mean, so much depth. I don't know of any movie that's ever tackled, like, especially a superhero movie tackling depression like that.
I've seen lots of things try and just come off so unbearably preachy.
Yes.
If you happen to be into Brandon Sanderson and you read the last book in the Stormlight Archives, they spent the whole movie like beating you over the head with like, and we do therapy now, and he's got PT, and I'm just like, it was by the end of the book, I was like, I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of being preached at about mental health.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm pretty sure, like, who wants to hear the words mental health in a fantasy story? Not me. Not me. But anyway, yes, I thought that they did a much better. I feel like they dealt with a lot of the same sort of things that WandaVision did, but where Wanda just sort of went tick, 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 and just sort of dive bombed after that. I think we finally got to see some of the same sort of things dealt with and actually see people, come a little functional out of it, which is nice, because whenever you happen to be just a little dysfunctional, you want to know there's light at the end of the tunnel, even if you've got baggage.
But I really appreciate the way, first of all, I like these characters. I think these characters play off each other very well. I think the banter between them is very good. I think they found ways to make you take a character like John Walker that you really kind of leave off, you feel a little bad for him, because like by the end of that show, like you're like, this guy had PTSD and they gave him the super soldier serum, which just enhanced everything.
Yeah.
And so you kind of feel bad for him, but you don't like him.
Yeah.
But I think they found a way to even make you like John Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't think mental health focus would sell a lot of tickets if that was your selling point. But I think that's like the grander story. Like, I think that, like, my kids love that movie, and I don't think they have the real, I don't know that they have any real understanding of what the base story there is.
Yeah.
My youngest certainly doesn't.
We've tried very hard for them not to understand those things, at least.
The
sacrifice of our own sanity.
But I think that it's a great action film.
Yeah.
if nothing else. And I think that for a lot of the things that where Marvel movies tend to become these wild CGI spectacles in the third act, this
Mm-hmm.
and everybody it's like, why does every Marvel movie do this? Well, this
Mm-hmm.
one didn't.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I thought whenever Red Guardian saves that little girl and he's like, da-da, and then she disappears, I thought the kids on either side of me were just going to cry. So they did a very good job with sort of getting you, like invested in what's happening. And I think they did a lot of times they have trouble with multiple characters, giving multiple characters enough sympathy that you really can invest in them. I mean, like, that was the problem with the Eternals, was they had all these characters that you were just like, and we're supposed to care because they didn't really establish any of them well. But this time I feel like they did.
Yeah. But it's just, there's something for me that makes about these characters like that just feels more relatable.
Yes.
Than, certainly more relatable than
No,
Alexa. Stop. The wiretap wanted to be on the podcast.
I guess so.
But Charles, you will have to let us know if you rewatch Thunderbolts what you think about it, because I guess I can understand going into it. I think I don't know if you watched a lot of the trailers, but I kind of had an idea of where this was going. Because the trailers lead you to believe that Yelena is really processing a lot of processing, a little bit of self-loathing and depression. So I kind of felt like I understood where it was going. So it didn't, I wasn't taken aback by where it went. Also kind of having, knowing what the void was going to be all
you
about.
had a pretty good idea. Yeah.
But I can certainly see if you thought you were just going to watch a
happy movie,
a popcorn flick, that this one might catch you off guard. So I'd definitely be curious to know what you thought if you rewatched it. But let's see. So Superman, let's just kind of go, because like we said at the top, if you hadn't seen the top of the show, like, we did a very, very long breakdown with David over on the audio podcast that went up yesterday, I believe. And I will put a link in the description, but Science Fictionary podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find that review. So not going to do a full review again today, but.
Okay. But can I just say, speaking of, since we're back on Superman.
Yeah.
Bum, ba, bum. Oh, I was so happy. I was so happy to hear the Superman music.
Oh, before we totally go back to Superman, I am excited that Jake Schreier, that did Thunderbolts, is going to be the person to bring the X-Men proper into the MCU.
Sounds like that's going to be fun.
Because I think he's got a real good grounded look at superheroes that I think will be good for X-Men.
But can we talk about how James Gunn understands nostalgia?
Yes, 100%.
He understands nostalgia, and not every time, but it felt very much like watching Force Awakens, when the Force Awakens came out. And it was like, it had like enough of the like magical things that sort of just pulled you back into that childhood headspace,
Yeah.
And I'm a music person, like I always have been. And so like I used to just listen to soundtracks on repeat.
So let's yeah.
And
who did the music for Superman?
Well, I don't know. I just know they used the John Williams.
They did
the John Williams theme, and it's like, so it's like seeing John Williams' name credited there. It's like, oh, just made me so happy.
Let's see, composed by John David Murphy and David Fleming, who I don't actually know.
Mm-mm.
I did see an interview with one of them that said it felt sacrilegious messing with that theme. So,
Yeah.
but they did a good job of incorporating it, because it's one of those themes that it does evoke emotions.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the thing is, you don't even have to. I mean, geez, I didn't even see Superman until I was grown. I didn't see it as a kid, but like you hear, bum, 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 bum. It's like, it's just one of those things that you're sort of like surrounded with. It's part of just the pop culture vernacular.
So I did enjoy that. I think that Superman and Fantastic Four both gave us terrific scores.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the Fantastic Four score was top notch.
Well, Michael Giacchino, man, that dude's on fire. Like,
man,
he is building one hell of a resume.
Yeah.
And I kind of heard like that they've maybe greenlit a sequel to Werewolf by Night, and hopefully he's back to direct that.
I hope so, because it was, I feel like movie composers, I was thinking about this the other day, are in a really interesting position to direct because they work so closely with directors and they have such an intimate. The thing is, they, in order to write the score, have to be in tune to all of the things, to the production design, to the colors, to the palette and the world and
the color
the
palette in
feeling.
Superman's fantastic.
Oh yes, it really is.
That's one of the things that I think will make an interesting comparison when we talk in depth on Fantastic Four, is they both have used a very cool color palette.
Beautiful production design for both of those shows. I mean, hats off to the production designer, because it was like top notch.
Yeah.
But because composers are they have to be so in tune to all of those things in order to make the music make sense. I had never really considered how well a movie composer would, could potentially segue into a director, until I watched Werewolf by Night. And I was like, well, of course, like that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to see him do more music and compose and direct more things.
I do somewhat agree with this. I think there are moments in the scene in the apartment where it was important the music dropped out. But yeah, there are spots where the music drops out at odd times in that movie. Like totally out.
Yeah. And it's not how. It's one of the things that I think differentiates cinema from theater, is that you get so many of your emotional cues in movies from the music, even just the real subtle things, really subtle cues in music, just a little zzz, little violins make little noise, little, little runs, little things that kind of cue you into, this is how this is supposed to make you feel.
Yeah, they do. But also, well, that's something we've talked about. And I think we need to do a music episode, a movie music episode at some point in general, because lately I'm finding that there are some composers out there that are guilty of using character motifs or motifs that are meant to tell you one thing when it doesn't exist at all. They're misusing the music. The Acolyte was horribly guilty of this.
Yeah.
Like, the music, especially in something like Star Wars, the music is a character, and the music is always meant to tell us the truth.
Right. Yes.
The music isn't supposed to lie to you. And in the Acolyte in particular, there were several occasions where the music was either lying to us or pointing to clear villains as heroes. And I think they did both of those things so yeah. So yeah, I definitely would like to have some longer conversations about that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
So let's just kind of run through because we're getting a little long here, and it's actually conversation's kind of been all over the place. Not that anybody is.
The Acolyte was guilty across the board.
The Acolyte. I don't think everybody agrees with me, but I called the Acolyte evil, and I will stand by that.
Yeah, guilty. Tried in the court of opinions.
I think I did a pretty good breakdown of exactly why it was not only evil, but why it is
bad Star Wars,
contrary to everything that George Lucas wanted Star Wars to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But let's run through this real quick. David Cornsweet as Superman.
He was so nice. Like, you need Superman to be like legitimately not just like, does the right thing in a high and mighty sort of way, but like really all shucks, yes ma'am, no sir, save the squirrels kind of nice. And I feel like he really sold that. He didn't just, he like really made you believe like he's the nicest person.
There's an innocence that,
yes,
that Christopher Reeve was very good at portraying.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, and I talked about this in the show with David, but like one of my the moment for me in the apartment, actually the conversation when she's going to interview him as Superman. And he pulled off the thing that Christopher Reeve always did so well, where he physically changes almost from Clark Kent to Superman. When he sits up in that chair, when he sits forward and his back straightens, and she says Superman, and he straightens up and says Miss Lane, and he's Superman now. And like for me, that was like, yes, that is Superman. Like. Because it was clear he had watched a lot of Christopher Reeve before they did this movie.
Like the drift I came away from that was like kind of some of that kind of Christopher Reeve, just like the making that good contrast, and also it gave very Brendan Fraser from Blast of the Past vibes to me.
It just gives very Brendan Fraser vibes all around, not just that. I think. There was a moment in time where we almost got a Brendan Fraser as Superman.
I would have liked that.
And I think that this is actually pretty close to what that would have been.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't, I'm not over here hating on Henry Cavill. I loved Henry Cavill as Superman.
And honestly, to me, the saddest thing was when James Gunn started saying, like, I want Happy Superman. And Henry Cavill was like, Happy Superman. He was so excited about Happy Superman. And then he didn't get to be Happy Superman, which, makes sense because he's like knocking on 50. But it still was kind of sad. It's like he wanted to be Happy Superman. I wanted him to get to be Happy Superman. But I do still think that what we got was phenomenal. And honestly, there were times where like I felt like evil Superman, clone Superman, it was like could have been Henry Cavill. Like he looks a lot like Henry Cavill.
They definitely have some similarities.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right. So you're sold on him as
sold on him as Superman.
What are you tonally? Like, are you sold on this tone for the new DCU?
And maybe not all of it.
Well, I don't think it all has to be this tone, but I think that to some extent, this, like the MCU, follows Iron Man and maintains a tone that has some ebbs and flows over time. But if you go back and watch the original Iron Man, it maintains that tone really through Endgame and to some extent still today.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's your, like, it's not that every movie, obviously if you do Batman, unless you're going to do the very 1970s Adam West Batman in this universe, that's not going to be the tone for your Batman movie.
Well, and that's the thing, like you say DC, and immediately my thought is, well, this isn't going to work for Batman.
Right.
I feel like it could work for Wonder Woman, for some other DC characters.
But I think so. I think when the worlds collide, which they're going to, and we've established the Justice Gang, which we know where that's headed.
The Justice Gang. I
This
love
is
it.
going to be, at least I would assume, foundationally our tone for the DCU.
Which I'm okay with. I enjoyed the tone. I think that it works well. I feel like they did a really good job kind of balancing the humor and the serious. Which honestly I feel
James
like
Gunn usually hits with that. I felt like Guardians 2 was the one place where some of the jokes don't work. Although having to rewatch that movie right before Guardians 3, I felt better about it than I did when in theaters. So, but Guardians 1 and Guardians 3 are two of my like all-time favorite comic book movies.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's something that he does a good job with generally. I feel like maybe Guardians 2 is where they went a little overboard, but not like,
not like Taika Waititi.
Not like Taika Waititi overboard.
Which is such a shame because like Ragnarok was great. It was like perfect, like balance there. And then we just tipped a little too far over onto the dumb scale. But anyway, that's not necessarily what we're here to talk about. I mean, here's the thing. It's a comic book movie. It's a comic book movie. Like, and I feel like we've already done very serious and dark DCU.
Well,
comic book
we did, and I appreciate. We'll probably do.
Again,
we can do a dark Batman, and I feel like that's one of the great things with Batman and Superman is the contrast in the two. And I felt like that was the problem with the DCEU was that we didn't really have this tone contrast between
anything. I mean, okay, that's not true. Aquaman was very different tonally,
but not when he showed up in the Justice League movie.
Yeah, and I mean, even Wonder Woman was tonally pretty dark. Which I loved Wonder Woman. I thought Wonder Woman.
I loved the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Right up the Wonder Woman almost sank the ship with the villain at the end.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, who buys Remus Lupin as a Greek god, as Ares?
Right.
Who buys Remus Lupin as Ares? Nobody. It is not a good sell. I'm sorry. Like, there's a lot of really attractive British actors who could sell themselves as a Greek god, but not him.
Well, they could have like had him transform and had another character play Ares.
Yeah.
Another actor play Ares.
But whenever we like went full on like God of War,
yeah,
I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I just saw like your version of the Queen of the Amazons. Like I've seen your Amazons, they're great and they sell it, but your God of War is not selling it.
Oh
God, I hope that Pattinson's Batman will not appear in Cornsweet's Superman. I think that's too much of a juxtaposition.
You know, I can't tell what's happening there. Because they're still making another Pattinson Batman film. I really hope that they're not going to cross over. I don't mind. Like, I think it's fine. I just don't know that character is going to work in this new DCU. But I also think that they know there's money to be made with a sequel to that movie. And so I think they're smart to not leave that money on the table. I don't know. There's a pretty stark contrast there in the two worlds they set up. I feel like. So I don't know. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. I mean, if that's where they go, that's where they go.
I mean, that's definitely. I mean, definitely a contrast. No doubt that, like, I mean,
I just want a classic Batman.
Yeah.
I want to go back to a little bit more classic Batman and his very over the top comic book villains. I don't need to go full on like 1980s, 1990s Batman.
Yeah.
That was a little too far the other direction.
Yeah.
But if that were the case, I'd rather them go with Pattinson. But I kind of just want a little bit more
of
a classic Batman.
I mean, even more your Dark Knight Batman, I feel like.
Yeah, somewhere between Dark Knight or what's his name? Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah.
But like, we can rein the characters in a little better than, Jim Carrey's Riddler or, Mr. Freeze or any of the other wild, and not that those, like, back in the day, those were great. I don't think they work today.
Now, I think if you pull Pattinson's Batman and this Superman together, you instantly understand why they hate each other. Like, because they have nothing in common. They have a completely different view of the world. They're so, everything that they stand for is so, a little dated. So diametrically opposed. Like, you're like, yeah, these people have they're like, I believe that Batman carries kryptonite in his belt because he doesn't trust Superman.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't believe anybody that powerful could actually be nice.
Right. But at the end of the day, like, your Batman and your Superman have to both be justice seekers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Nice to see you.
All right. So anything else we want to touch on before we wrap up here?
I don't think so. I'm ready to go get some dinner.
All right. Well, let's go get some dinner. If you didn't catch it at the beginning of the show, full Superman breakdown with David on the audio podcast. You can find that wherever you listen to podcasts at the Science Fictionary podcast. We'll be back on here with some more stuff. We need to do some Star Wars stuff. So we haven't watched the animated series from this year.
Oh, that's true.
So we definitely want to come back and touch on that. But it is, like I've said already, just what a phenomenal year for Star Wars content. It's going to take a real movie theatrical success, I think, to resurrect the fandom. Because when you reach the point because the tipping point that I noticed was, it would always be the casual fans were always like, oh, I watched it, it was okay. Or even if I watched it, I didn't like it. But when the casual fans started saying, yeah, I'm not watching that.
The thing is, you don't make movie only for us. You make movies for all the people that could potentially buy a ticket.
Yeah.
And all of those people bought tickets to see Force Awakens.
But I think this year, this year between Skeleton Crew and Andor, I think we got two great pictures of what Star Wars can be. I want Star Wars. I've always wanted Star Wars to be what Skeleton Crew is. It's very traditional George Lucasian Star Wars. And Andor proves that we can also be this other thing. And man, that's what I want. Like, I want more of both of those things.
Yep.
Like, because they are top-notch Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, that's going to do it today. Thank you, Charles. Looks like somebody else joined the chat. Maybe they want to say something before we sign off. Probably not.
Other person. Thank you for coming and watching.
Thank you for hanging out with us, Charles. It's always good to see you in the chat. And that's going to do it for this episode. So until next time, may the Force be with you.